It is a little bit past midnight, but I will keep this as Tuesday, June 17th. I am not feeling great. I think I got a little sick somehow. I was the first day working outside, and maybe it's just there's still pollen in the air. I think it's because my mom recently just cleaned like the deck furniture, and it released all the pollen that was just sitting there from the spring. And so I think I was just sitting outside for a little bit when I was done working, and it just got to me, which is really, really annoying. Because I've just been sneezing all night, and I'm stuffed up and like dry, and it just does not feel good. But, so in reason of that, I'm just going to go to bed a little bit earlier. I'm not going to do this for too long, just because I want to get up. I want to finish just tidying just a little bit in my room before I go to sleep. But there's something I really do want to talk about, just something really quick, is that I said yesterday that I hung up some shelves for the records that I have. And that got me really thinking, especially now that I just reorganized my mini little bookshelf for all the books that I have. And it's like, I like collecting things. Like I talked about how I use objects as catalysts for memories, and I collect them. Like, I purposely only buy cartridges for video games because I love collecting the cases. Like, one of my favorite things that I bought was during the pandemic year, and I bought the collector's edition for Xenoblade Chronicles, the definitive edition, that one. And I bought it so I could have the art book, and that is so cool, and I love that so much. Really wanted to get something like that for Tears of the Kingdom, but I was too slow. But I like doing that. Like, eventually will start collecting more manga that I have. I only have 3 so far. I love some of the old graphic novels that I have. Like, there used to be Usagi Yojimbo, which was a really old, like, samurai graphic novel that was about a bunny who is Yojimbo. Because Usagi is bunny in Japanese. I know that now. But it was really great. And then another graphic novel that I loved was The Bone Book, which a lot of people have read. And my favorite fun fact is it actually got banned at one point in some school district somewhere, which I think is really funny because it is an amazing graphic novel, and it's really lighthearted and turns very dark and, in my opinion, very political and very introspective, and I love it so much. And then, like, eventually I maybe want to try and get the Amulet ones, because that's another pillar of my childhood. But I don't own any of them because I would just I would borrow them from the library. But then I have other things like, when I was really young, I had like 3 book series that I read, like fully. It was The Brother Band, Ranger's Apprentice, and the Cherub book series. So those are in there too. And I also really, because I went to a very prolific boarding school and now college, I have read a lot of very famous books. And mainly, I read a lot of Vladimir Nabokov. So up there, I have Invitation to a Beheading, Pale Fire, Lolita, unfortunately. Lolita, terrible, like setting, characters, but my God, that's such a really interesting book to read because you're rooting for the villain and a terrible person, but then it's so cool. If you ever get a chance, you should totally read that, just because it's like one of those things. It's like 2001: A Space Odyssey. You gotta watch it because it's revolutionary. That book is, you just gotta read it. And a bunch of other things, and I got some other ones, and then I have some things from college, some of them that were from my sociology class that I thought were very, very interesting, about the injustice of place, like the injustice of living in, like, the Cotton Belt, the Coal Belt, the Rust Belt, all those places, and how, in my opinion, and how the book framed it, or at least what I extrapolated from the book, how capitalism essentially ran through and ruined everything in these industries and monopolized, and it's a bunch of things, and I really love, and something about the pandemic and how it was handled and how it ruined certain communities in New York City. It was very, very interesting to read, so I love having those on there because those are some books that I read that are very famous, and they're actually, like, real books other than just, like, a young adult fantasy book. and yeah, my Switch games. But going through and like seeing like, oh, I love these albums, oh, I love these video games, let me put them on my wall, here, this, and this. I don't have any movies that I've collected. The closest thing I have is the Lord of the Rings on DVD, but that was because my mom bought it so far back, because she loves Lord of the Rings, and I do too. And so I want to like start collecting movies. And it's really hard to collect movies, not because it's difficult to get they're rare or whatever. It's just not cool. Like, if you think about it, collecting books, great. Books are old, they're fancy, they can be placed, everything. It's a piece to put on a wall, and you use it as a social commentary about yourself. It makes you look fancier, more cultured. It makes sense. Vinyls, really cool, really old, more archaic piece of technology, but it still produces great sound quality, and it looks good. Movies, you just kind of have to collect DVDs. And DVDs aren't cool. They're just DVDs. Like, I would get the 4K Blu-ray DVD, and that is, like, the thing to collect for a movie. And especially in an age where I really want to get a DVD, because I'm very afraid that a bunch of my favorite movies I won't be able to watch in the future just because I won't be able to have them. Even though I think DVDs are region-locked, but I don't really know much about that. So, like, one of my favorite, and I know I'm going to sound really nerdy and really pretentious, but one of my favorite films of all time is Perfect Blue by Satoshi Kon. I absolutely love his work. I think he is a genius when it comes to filmmaking. Like, his piece in Memories, Paprika, Tokyo Godfathers, Millennium Actress, like, all the films that he made are great. Paranoia Agent is really cool for the first half, but kind of gets weird. I already talked about that before, but Perfect Blue is one of my favorites, and I want to have that in my room. Like, I want to have Perfect Blue, Akira, Memories, Jinro, Wolf Brigade. I want to have Robot Carnival. Any other ones that I've watched? Ghost in the Shell. Definitely forgetting one. I am forgetting the Evangelion movies, but I already have an Evangelion album, so I think that's pretty chill for now. Oh, what am I missing? Vampire Hunter D, Bloodlust, amazing movie. But I want to have those because those are really cool and they're very fun to watch. I love those movies. If I would say, like, one of the more Western movies, 1917 is one of my favorites. But I know I've talked about this with friends, but I really like animation. Like, the Studio Ghibli movies. I forgot the Studio Ghibli movies, but I would love to collect those. And I don't want to be seen as such of a nerd, but because, like, ooh, he's collecting anime and a bunch of random things. Oh, you got manga. But, like, to me, animation just brings out something cooler than a lot of live action can. And I just like the stories that can be told. Like, Paprika the way it's framed, the way it's filmed, can't really be portrayed in a live action sense. And so I think the medium is just amazing in creating very memorable stories. So I like those a little bit more. And I also have a really deep respect for I don't know if it's Western films or Eastern, like non-English films, because they have different pacing, different storytelling, like beats. I think I talked about this before, but like I watched a lot of Russian movies for one of my classes, and it's so interesting how the stories are being told differently and the plots are being developed differently. And I think it's a little bit more fun to watch that way. I think like a really good example of how the plot develops and such in those type of films is Hell or High Water, which that is actually one of my favorites as well. I would love to have a Hell or High Water thing. I remember watching that at a summer camp, and it was absolutely amazing film. I watched it recently again. Amazing. So, like, and maybe it's because I'm a little bit artsy, but, like, I love the ones that are a little bit convoluted in a way, and those are just very important to me and to have, but it's just kind of lame to collect DVDs, even though that's the way to collect them right now. And like I could collect posters, but I'm not gonna hang up a Perfect Blue poster because even though it looks so cool, that's just kind of an odd one to walk in the room, you look to the left and you see Perfect Blue with the main character just holding a knife stabbing somebody. Like, it looks cool. Like Akira would be a poster to have. My Japanese professor had Akira in her office, and that is a sick poster. It's just so iconic that it's been recreating over and over again, but I love it. And like Memories is a great one too, but they're a little bit like, you walk in and you're like, oh, what's that? And you're like, oh, it's anime. Like, I don't want that impression. And they're also just too big and I don't have a lot of space anymore. But I would love to collect them. I definitely would get the posters to have in my room, but I want something that is the media itself. And DVDs are just not cool. They're not retro enough. Like, it's like vinyls still hold up to digital recordings. And they're really old at this point. Vinyls are a very old creation. And it's really cool how the audio quality has maintained up to now. DVDs is the same, but it's like there's no novelty in collecting it. It's not like a display piece. Like, I hung my vinyls up on the wall because the art on the things are really cool and it's awesome to have. Putting up DVDs, not really. Like, you put up the posters, but you can only put up so much because they're so big. It's this really, really annoying conundrum I have because I want to start collecting those because I'm really afraid that I'm going to eventually get to a spot in the future where it's not going to be available to me to watch. So, I don't know. It would be really fun. I just got to figure out the correct way, not the correct way, the best way to get those in, because I'm going to start looking for some of those posters now, because I think it's those three, Perfect Blue, Akira, and Memories, those three posters are definitely something to watch. And I would love a Robot Carnival, because Robot Carnival is really cool. But I digress. It's just really, really hard to say, I'm collecting movies, and it's a DVD, and it just doesn't feel cool like collecting vinyls or books. So I just have to figure out a way to do that properly.